Hello, guys, and welcome to the Marigold Standard, your weekly audio source of all things Dream Star Fighting. Marigold, I'm your host, Rob Goodwin, and I am joined as ever by, of course, the vivid honey mustard, Mr. Matt Turner. Matt Turner, how are you?
I like the delay on the Matt.
Just a little bit of dramatic pause there.
I love it. I love it. Rob, I am more excited than usual this week, which is saying something for a lot of reasons. Number one, I'm going to be talking to you about some fantastic wrestling from our friends over at Marigold, and we're going to be talking about another Malenko that has entered the fray in professional wrestling, which I'm really excited about. Again, more on that in just a little bit. Really excited for the Super Bowl is this weekend, and I'm mostly excited. There is rumors that there's going to be some Marvel trailers, full trailers, possibly for Doomsday during the Super Bowl. So super excited for that. Obviously, if you listen to the Stardom Cast, you know I'm excited about the Stardom pay-per-view this weekend with Sai Kamatani versus Starlight Kid. Rob, I'm also very excited that just the other day we all found out that my pro wrestling mentor will be main eventing WrestleMania Night 2. So super excited for one CM Punk to be main eventing WrestleMania again, but main eventing Night 2. Rob is I got the Sweetheart Dance coming up this weekend. That's exciting as well.
That's the WrestleMania main event right there.
Yeah, that's it right there. And it's all as super exciting as it all is. That may pale into comparison. What I'm really excited about, Rob, it looks like next year, 2027, the return of Ozfest. So I don't know if you've seen this.
I have seen this.
Yes. Sharon Osbourne did an interview where she said that she's been in contacts with Live Nation, who is basically the ticket outfitter and the distributor for Ozfest for years and years and years, to bring back Ozfest. And I was like, maybe it's just something that she's saying. Just the pro wrestler in me. It's like, it's something that maybe said, we'll see what happens. And then a day would pass, 2 days would pass. And then kind of like where there's smoke, there's fire. All these big publications were picking up on it. And then just yesterday, I was scrolling through the Twitter and I saw that there was the Ozfest Devil logo where it said Ozfest with the Devil 2027. I'm like, oh, cool. Somebody made a logo. No, that was the official Ozfest page that I'm sure some of the Osbournes have a hand in, putting out the news. So I was like, once I saw that on there, I'm like, there's no way the official Ozfest page doesn't put that out with it not coming true. So more than likely, Rob, 2027, the return of Ozfest, which I can't think of a better way to immortalize the true greatest of all time, one Ozzy Osbourne. So a lot of really cool things going on in my neck of the woods, my friend, this week.
I mean, the biggest question is, did you see the performance for Ozzy from the Grammys this past week?
I did, with Post Malone on lyrics, Slash and Duff
did
McKagan.
A very good job, Post Malone did, I must admit. Very good job.
Yeah, really good. And then Youngblood won Best Rock Performances for Changes. So again,
unsurprising. It was very good.
So you look at, and again, this is the giant Ozzy Osbourne fan in me. I rarely pay attention to anything with the Grammys, but obviously there was a lot of Ozzy's fingerprints on the Grammys. But like Youngblood wins Best Rock Performance for a song Ozzy wrote 50 years ago. And then there's a tribute song for War Pigs, which was great, that Ozzy wrote about 50 years ago. So let's see if Taylor Swift songs are going to be talked about and covered in 50 years from now, or TLC, or Two Live Crew, or any of those. I don't know.
Really? You went from Taylor Swift to Two Live Crew? Like, what a window into the mind of Matt Turner.
You don't want to be in this mind, folks. You don't. Ooh, it's like the monkey banging the cymbal. That's what's going on here. But obviously, I'm doing good, buddy. How's everything in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, I can't complain, which is always a good sign. We did wake up this morning. The boiler had gone out, so it was absolutely Baltic today when I got in. However, Matt Turner, I went full man and I have fixed the boiler. Oh, yes. Buddy. Oh, yes. When Kirsty got home tonight, the house it wasn't toasty warm, but it was warmer than it was. And yes, I'd like to point out that it was very, very easy. I just had to open some valves. But if anybody else asks, it was the most complex and fiddly thing you've ever seen. Basically, I went to war on this boiler and came out victorious.
You should have pulled the old what Harley Race did to Ricky Steamboat when they were trying to sell an angle where he went backstage and rubbed sandpaper all over Ricky Steamboat's face, and then when he came out for a promo, like, oh my god, look at Ricky Steamboat. And that's what you should have done. You should have like cut yourself or put some soot on your face or something like that, Rob. You know, like, look at everything I did to get you warm, Kirsty, because you cannot put a price on love, true love, Rob. That's what. Yeah, could have sold it. Could have really sold it. But good for you. Good for you, Mr. Handyman over there, Rob Goodwin.
Oh, absolutely. Again, one of the most simple things you've ever seen. I followed a 3-minute YouTube video. That's the most complex thing that I've done in this house. But nevertheless, it's done, and it's on. I'm just checking the radiator. It is officially on, so we're good to go. Because I was up here earlier because I managed to not sneak away from work. I'd just finished work and was sat in my office and literally was in a huge winter coat wrapped up in my desk because it was that cold when I got in.
Do you do your work stuff? Like, do you have a work office as well as the podcast office?
No.
Okay, because yeah, we had like a 6-hour meeting the one day, and they were like, just stay home. I'm like, all right, I'll just do it in the podcast room. And I'm literally right here, and I have my work iPad on. And then my buddies are texting me and be like, you might want to put up a random window because people can see the mask and these.
Yeah, I've had that when I've been on Teams before. Yeah, I've had that while I've been on Teams. And I'm like just trying to block out the pictures of the wrestlers on my wall like that. What's that big picture, Rob, that you've got there? It's nothing. Don't you worry about it.
Cartoon of me.
Yeah, it's just my big moon face. Please just don't pay attention to it. Just ignore it. Is that your chin? Let's not talk about this, eh?
And it's funny because as my buddies are texting me on my personal phone, like, I don't know what you want to do. So now the podcast salesman comes in to play. I'm like, there's 600 some odd people on this call. Maybe I drop a link in the chat to our, that's what I was thinking. I was like, what's the worst that can happen?
Basically dot carding them, weren't you?
Yeah, 600 person dot card. I dot card a lot of people during my Hall of Fame thing a couple weeks ago. A lot of people got dot carded, buddy. Yeah.
Those poor people.
Russ never sleeps. People. Neither does Matt Turner.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't at all. Neither does Rob, but that's for a different reason. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about some Marigold. It's going to be a fairly, and I say fairly because it never turns out to be short when me and Matt get together. But there's not a great deal to talk about. Just the 2 shows, 5 matches apiece. Actually, I think there was 6 matches from one of the cards. We've got a little bit of news coming out in regards to the foreign team that were announced for the 3D trios. We now know who they are. We have got news, of course, of the daughter of Dean Malenko making her Marigold debut, which is very exciting. We know who Mayu Iwatani is going to be defending the GHC Women's Championship against next. And we have got the official brackets for that 3D Trios tournament as well. So let's not beat around the bush, Mr. Turner. Let's get straight into it and let's talk about this upcoming Monday, because that is when Mayu Iwatani will be defending the GHC Women's Championship for a second time. So during the Monday Magic just gone on the 2nd of February, the great Sequoia has been sort of going full Bret Hart and writing GHC in the air. Great fan of Bret Hart as the great Sequoia. You can see the influences.
Who isn't?
Well, yeah, quite. Anyway, Mayu Iwatani did come out to confront Sequoia and basically confirmed it. It was a very funny exchange because Mayu just was nowhere near the ring. And every time Great Sequoia moved forward, Mayu would back off. Wanted none of that missed at all. But she will defend that belt against Great Sequoia on the final Monday Magic Rising Sun show this coming Monday, February the 9th. Also confirmed for that card for those that are interested. Titus Alexander will be defending the GHC Hardcore Championship against Japanese wrestling legend Masato Tanaka. A really interesting one, actually, this, because Mayu did point out this is the first time she will be defending the GHC Women's Championship on an actual Noah show as opposed to a Marigold show. But obviously, there are rumors we cannot confirm or deny that the great scorer is Riko Kawahata. Obviously, we could not possibly confirm that, but there are rumors out there. Now, I know that Mayu and Riko would have tremendous chemistry. Again, I am a huge fan of Riko. Under the Great Sequoia guys, I'm really intrigued to see how this match goes, because the Great Sequoia is a gimmick, more than anything else. It'll still be a really good match. It'll be completely different to the Utami match and certainly the Takumi match, Matt.
Rob, do you think they're missing a trick by not building this matchup a little more? And what I mean by that is not having a preview tag match. Are you taking a drink? I gotta wait because then I'm gonna pop you. Well, preview
intriguing.
match with the father figures. Don't you think that the Great Sequoia and the Great Muda versus Mayu and Rasi Ogawa will be the way? I think the build has been good. The build, I think they might have missed the big step by having Mayu and Rasi take on the Great Sequoia and Great Muda. All joking aside, yeah, this should be good because again, Great Sequoia may or may not be Riko Kawahara, but who's fantastic. But we kind of liken some of this Great Sequoia stuff, kind of we would see with Haruka Yamasaki as Karma, like a really great wrestler. But when she does the gimmick does well, but it may hinder some of the wrestling. I don't see that here. Again, we haven't seen too much of the Great Sequoia have those really great matches that we have seen Riko as part of Magenta and part of Marvelous have. But this match is going to be, I guess, pun intended. I didn't realize I was going to say this. I really think this match is going to be marvelous because it's Mayu. It's the Great Sequoia. I believe this is in Shinjuku Face where they do all of these Monday Magics, which is a great, really great atmosphere for a venue. But I'm really looking forward to this. Mayu defending one of her 2 championships that she has right now against somebody that is, quote unquote, may or may not be the daughter of the Great Muda. I still think this will be done really well because they've given this time to breathe. They let it build for a little bit. So I'm really looking forward to this match this Monday, my friend. Great way to cure your Super Bowl hangover is watching Mayu Iwatani defend the Pro Wrestling Noah Joshi Championship.
Yeah, and this will be live on Wrestle Universe Monday, the 9th of February. Definitely worth checking out. We do have the full brackets announced for the 3D Trios Championships. For those, again, who don't know, that is short for Dream, Diamond, Destiny, and will be the company's Trios titles going forward. We've seen them in the flesh now, Matt. Obviously, we'd seen the graphics. We now have seen them in the flesh. I'll ask you what your thoughts are on these belts in a moment. But in terms of the brackets, obviously, for those watching on YouTube, the brackets are slightly more expanded now, as we know who one of the semi-finals will contain. And obviously, we're going to get into that foreign team that have been announced in a moment. But we do know that Natsumi Showzuki, Mai Sakurai, and Arina Yamanaka were the first through to the semi-finals. They will take on, and again, spoilers for those who haven't seen the show from the 30th, they will take on the team of Seriyama Oka, Shoko Kishino, and Yuka Yamazaki on the 15th of February in the 176 box in Osaka. Now, that means that the winner of Utami, Chanyota and Chikagoto and Darkness Revolution, and the winner of Mayu Iwatani, Komomo Minami, and Victoria Yuzuki, and the foreign team, they will face off on February the 13th. And then obviously in Shinjuku Face, and then the winners will face off on the final in Korakuen Hall on the 23rd of February. Now, Matt, obviously having seen the brackets now, we'll talk about that foreign team in a moment. Are your favorites to win still Miku Ano, Koki Amare, and Megaton?
Still, yeah, absolutely. I think that, yeah. Per this, I mean, again, we know who the team wrestling team Mayu is, but what if something happens and then they have to throw in a team and it's Miko Ano, Koki Amare, and Megaton? It's
still clinging on to it. I love it.
Yeah, I guess. Since you brought it up, I wasn't going to say anything, but since you brought it up, you got to continue with the gimmick. The way that I'm looking at this, I think, again, we know who the semifinals is on the left side of the bracket. Again, if you're watching on YouTube. As great as Team Seri is, I just think the Buzzsaw team, that's Arina Yamayaka, Natsumi Showzuki, we're going to be talking a lot about and praising Natsumi Showzuki on this show. Holy geez. And Mai Sakurai, I think that there are probably the favorites to win that match and go to the finals. look on the right side of the bracket. I just don't see. I know they're bringing in, a Gaijin team to take on Team Mayu, but it's Team Mayu, Yuzuki, Komomo Minami, in a great match we're going to be talking about in the semi-main event on the show from the 31st. So I think that Team Mayu wins there. It's going to be interesting because now you have, we haven't said in a while, let's call it King's Journey, Tommy Hayashishita, Chen Yoda, and Chikagoto taking on Darkness Revolution. And what's great about Darkness Revolution is when they're when they have a big match and you're building towards the finish and they win, they usually win because they have tag team chemistry. They're the only faction in the year and a half history that is Marigold, and they're not above bending and breaking the rules. So that's a tough one to call. I'm going to say Team Utami wins that one. And then I'm going to say they go to the finals. So my finals, just on my predictions, is I'm going to say Utami, Chikagoto, and Chan Yoda, King's Journey, taking on Natsumi the ladyship, right, Rob? That's the ladyship.
Absolutely.
Right?
That must be the lady. I swear to God, if Marigold come out with King's Journey and the ladyship, I am going to lose my mind.
I was thinking of this the other day, Rob. Remember a couple months ago, we were trying to, whatever Mayu's faction is going to be, we were trying to call it like moon or stars or whatever, clouds. I'm sorry. No, obviously she was stars in Stardom. It was like moon or clouds or Mars.
Nebulous.
Yeah, there you go. Milky Way. I
love Milky Way.
I think that's the way it's going to be. Since the ladyship did knock off my odds on favorites to win, you have to go with them, and they have the hot hand. So I'm going to say that the ladyship defeats King's Journey in the finals of this tournament.
Yeah, I certainly think they'll be the finalist. I do think they'll be the beaten finalist. I still think that the favorites going into this, and again, we'll find out on the 7th of February when, presumably because I've picked them, they will also get eliminated. But Utami, Chanyota, and Chikagoto are my favorites to go through.
Question, good sir. The 23rd, is that Korakuen?
23rd is Korakuen, yeah.
Here's something else you have to think about is Korakuen's coming off really great Marigold's coming off really great momentum from the last Korakuen with Mayu's 15th anniversary show, over 1,000 people in there. So they're going to want their main event to have star power. So is it Team Utami or Team Mayu that goes to no disrespect to Darkness Revolution, they're great. But to main event in a Korakuen where you want to do 1,000 people, you're going to either have a team led by Utami or a team led by Mayu in the finals. So that's something, too, you have to take into consideration. Because at the end of the day, Rob, it still is a business, my friend. You're still trying to sell as many tickets as you possibly can. So that's something, too, to take into consideration. And another reason why I don't understand why Megaton is not in the finals, my friend.
That's true. I mean, the draw herself. I will point out that the chances are this Korakuen on the 23rd will also have Miko Ueno defending the red belt against Chiaki. And I would probably think, especially if it's going the way we think it's going, with some sort of, stipulation, potentially a hair versus hair match, I imagine that's got to go on last. Which means that this will go on semi-main. I still think Utami, Chikagoto, and Chanyota is the way to go. It wouldn't surprise me if Mayu potentially has a Superfly championship defense on this card, potentially. But either way, you've got, especially with the sort of reinforcements that Marigold have got now with the foreign talent that we're going to be talking about in a moment, the roster goes very, very deep. So you've got a lot of matches that you can potentially put on this Korakuen Hall card. I think it's great for Chiaki as well, who isn't in this tournament, don't forget. I think it's great that she's going to get her moment in the sun and a real chance to prove herself against Miko Ueno. But yes, I am still of the opinion, because I think to legitimize these titles, you need to put them on, at least one main event talent. And I think Utami isn't doing a lot right now, especially having just lost to Mayu. I think it will be great for her to have the belt. We've literally been talking about Chikagoto, and we were talking about throughout the award show about what's next for Chikagoto. What's that next step? This is the next step. I think that's the perfect next step for Chikagoto. Plus, Chanyo was great as well. We've now seen the belts in person, not just on graphics. What are your thoughts on the designs themselves?
Blue and gold. I see what you did there, Rossi. I mean, my email address. I'll tell you at the end of the show. I'll joke. I mean, what does the 3D stand for? Diamond, right? So you have the 3 diamonds in there. I like them. I think they're good looking belts. I do like the yellow strap. It does stand out very much like when Rossi did design the Artist of Stardom Championships. There was 3 different colors of straps there, and it made it stand out. So I like this yellow straps. You don't see that a lot. Be
Not at
frank,
all,
again, maybe
really.
no, to kind of be honest, me just because when I go to wrestling, I go to a lot of my nostalgia of growing up. It reminds me of the Ultimate Warrior when you would have the
I
yellow
was
backing.
just going to say that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's exact because even the shape of the front plate
yeah,
reminds me of that.
the Intercontinental title. Another reason why I
Mhm.
think Megaton should have won, because a lot of people do refer to her as the Ultimate
The
Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior of Marigold.
We're on a roll here. I know I like them because you do see a lot of, especially in independent wrestling, when there's a new championship or a new company that's starting and here's the belt. It's cookie cutter of a lot of the NWA, WCW, WWE, WWF, where it's just it doesn't stand out. It doesn't stand out where these ones obviously do. So I like them. Again, the yellow strap, the diamonds on them. I think they look really really cool.
Yeah, and again, it differentiates them from the other belts as well. So you've got obviously the crimson red belt, the pure white belt. You've got the twin star titles, and now you've got the bright yellow of the 3D trios titles. It's an instantly definable characteristic. Of the 4 designs, it's probably my least favorite, but that speaks more to how much I love the United National and the Crimson Red Belt designs. I'm a huge fan of the designs, and I'm a huge fan of the history that Rossi has taken sort of influence from in regards to those titles. These are great. These are fine. I don't mind them at all. And again, the yellow is a definable characteristic. It makes it stand out. Just doesn't, it's not quite to the standard of the United National and the Crimson Red Belt, in my humble opinion. However, trios titles, much needed in Marigold, and I think it's a great idea.
Good call, sir.
Moving on, then, Marigold did announce the full card for the 7th and the 8th of February, with no fewer than 4 mystery opponents throughout the 2 cards. So when they were initially announced on the 2nd of February, so on Monday, this is how the cards looked for the 8th of February. You ready? Ryo Saito versus a mystery opponent. Victoria Yuzuki and Seri Yamaoka versus 2 mystery opponents. Miku Ano, Chico Goto, and Megaton versus Nagisa Nozaki, Misa Matsui, and a mystery opponent. It was like, what on earth is happening? Anyway, we'll go through these full cards at the end of the show, but it has been confirmed who these mystery opponents are. I will be honest, as soon as I saw who was on the Monday Magic show, I did wonder if it was going to be them, and it is, basically. So Marigold have officially named the foreign team from the 3D tournament. That will be the United States trio of Dream Girl Ellie, Sophia Sivan, I think it might be Sivan, and Olivia Rose, with all but Sivan making their Japanese debuts. Dream Girl Ellie, by the way, you may know from seeing her on AEW. She's been on Collision and Ring of Honor lately, and she did a couple of spots on AEW Dark as well. Sivan toured with JTO in December 2024, lost to Aoi in singles competition, and shared the ring with the Inaba sisters as well.
Owie gave her an owie. I'm on a roll.
God. Elsewhere, and this is really exciting, actually, on the 7th of February, which the show is taking place in the S-Forto Arena in Hachioji in Tokyo, Seri Yamaoka will be taking on none other than Dean Malenko's daughter, Marie Malenko, which is incredibly exciting. So 4 foreign talent to join the roster. We have no note of how long they are going to be wrestling in Marigold 4, or indeed how many matches they will be having. Obviously, we know that there are 2 more foreign talent coming over for the True Victory series. Angel Hayes and Maddie Morgan, we know they're coming over. So I wonder if this is going to be a slightly shorter one, or if some of them are going to be there for the long haul. Either way, Matt, very, very exciting news. And again, we are going to be going through these full cards at the end of the show.
Yeah, I've seen and heard of Dream Girl Ellie. I'm really excited for Dean Malenko's daughter. I've never seen her wrestle before, but the Malenko family is one of those very rich in history wrestling families, kind of like the Harts, the Von Erichs, so on and so forth, because Dean is the most recognizable because of his time in WCW and WWE, and is a current backstage producer, putting matches together for AEW and helping the younger talents out. If you remember, Dean used to team with his brother, Joe Malenko, when they used to wrestle in All Japan. And then their father, the professor, Boris Malenko, was a journeyman wrestler back, I believe, in the 60s and 70s. So basically, you're getting Dean Malenko's daughter. Her uncle was a wrestler. Her grandfather was a wrestler. So the Malenko bloodline, for lack of a better term, is going to be pouring over here into Marigold. We're going to be able to talk about it and basically break down all of the action each and every week right here on the Marigold Standard. So really excited to see what she does. If she's anything like her dad or her brother or her uncle, who's going to have a great fundamental base, great technical wrestling. And the fact that she's paired up with, I believe, Rhea Sato and Sarah Yamaoka on these upcoming shows, those are great styles for her because they'll work similar styles. So really excited to see what she does here in Marigold. And she's obviously only going to get better working with this roster, the Mayus, the Yuzukis, the Mai Sakurais, the Miko Anos, the Utamis, and so on and so forth. So really great opportunity for her and for us fans of her dad, one Dean Malenko.
Yeah, so just to whip through that, on the 7th of February, which is this upcoming Saturday, it'll be Dream Girl Ellie, Sophia Savan, and Olivia Rose that will be taking on Mayu Iwatani, Victoria Yuzuki, and Komomo Minami in the final match of the 3D Championship tournament round 1, while Marie Malenko will be taking on Seri Yamaoka in singles action. When Marigold goes to the 8th of February in the Kasagabe Fusai Cube in Saitama. As you've already mentioned, Marie Malenko will be facing off with Rhea Sato. Dream Girl Ellie will be joining the Darkness Revolution against Miko Ano, Megaton, and Chika Goto. And then the team of Sophia Savan, Olivia Rose will be facing Seri Yamaoka and Victoria Yuzuki in tag team action. Again, we'll have a look at those cards when we get to the end of the show.
Hanson, the show on the 7th, is this live stream or is this going to be VOD?
I imagine these will both be VOD.
Oh, okay. I just right before we recorded, I just checked the news and we're supposed to get wind chill, negative 15 degrees. So I'm like, Saturday, beautiful. Maybe I won't go anywhere. Oh no, I got to go to the dance at night. Oh man. Anywho, I was gonna say I'll just watch
Don't
Marigold.
Make out like you're not extremely excited for this dance match.
I am, and Amber told me that our youngest nephew is coming because he's so helpful. So he's like, well, you're gonna have to hang out with him. Like, I will absolutely hang out with my soon-to-be 13-year-old nephew. His birthday is in 2 weeks, and he's like, oh, can you buy me protein for my birthday? I'm like, this is my guy. Yeah, absolutely. I'll buy you protein for your birthday, of course.
The fact that this soon-to-be 13-year-old is going to open all of his presents on his birthday, and it's just going to be chicken fillet after chicken fillet after chicken fillet from you. Is this the one you keep embarrassing on Madden?
Yes, I haven't played Madden with him in a while. Yeah, he's my buddy.
Just unnecessary. He's got to learn. Just let him win.
I try to. So I don't even know how to play. I literally don't even play video games. I only play Madden when he comes over. I used to play the God of War series, and it's great. I just don't have the time for it.
Well, no, that is very, very true. Let's talk then, Matt, about these upcoming shows, because these two shows were really, really good. We are starting, of course, with the show in Shinjuku Face as he tries to find his notes because he's clicked on the wrong thing, as per usual. There we go. The show from the 30th was live streamed live from Shinjuku Face in Tokyo. The attendance was 315 for this card, a 22.22% decrease on the last time Marigold ran Shinjuku face, which was 405 on the 31st of December, Matt, for a show we were at. Though it is worth pointing out that this show did take place on a weekday, which might partially explain the drop in attendance. 315 does mark the joint second lowest attendance the company have drawn to the venue, with only the 305 they drew in March 2025 being lower. In terms of the matches, of course, the main event was a Marigold Superfly Championship title defense. Mayu Iwatani, who at that point had been champion 251 days, making her sixth title defense against Komomo Minami. Her first challenge for any title in Marigold. It's also her first singles match against Mayu. Just for some sort of reference point, I suppose, her overall singles record before this match, 10, 26, and 3. In terms of the results, we open with a singles match. Rina Yamanaka defeating Megaton with the Ulka Press in 6 minutes and 26 seconds. We then went into a three-way, which was what a match to just have second on the card. Natsumi Showzuki versus Victoria Yuzuki versus Mai Sakurai ended in a 15-minute time limit draw. And again, Matt, yes, we are going to be talking up Natsumi Showzuki. 8-woman tag match next. Miku Aono, Utami Hayashishita, Koki Yamare, and Chikagoto defeated the Darkness Revolution team of Nagisa Nozaki, Ria Sato, Misa Matsui, and Chiaki. Go Chika debuting a brand new finisher, which she handily calls I'm Go Chika, hitting it on Ria Sato in 16 minutes for the win. Our second team into the semi-finals of the 3D Trios Championship will be Seri Yamaoka, Shoko Kishino, and Yuki Yamazaki, as we mentioned earlier. They defeated Hummingbird, Naoya Ishikawa, and Nagisa Takibana. Seri Yamaoka pinning Nagisa Takibana with the dial lock in 11 minutes and 30 seconds. And then in your main event, Marigold Superfly Championship match, Mayu Iwatani made that sixth successful title defense, defeating Komomo Minami with a moonsault in 12 minutes and 30 seconds. It was a moonsault that Mayu, I think, undershot a little bit because Komomo Minami ate all sorts of knees. But still a really good match, and I can't wait to talk to you about that. But before we do, Matt, of course, we need to talk about the ultimate warrior of Marigold. It is, of course, Megaton. Once again, losing a singles match, continuing her Goldberg-like streak, I think, of losing singles matches, this time against Rina Yamanaka.
This very much was like the Ultimate Warrior versus Rick the Model Martel, Rob. Did you get those vibes when you were watching this match? Because you have the Ultimate Warrior Megaton and the model that is Rina Yamanaka. They say styles make fights. These two have completely different styles, Rob, completely different personalities, and they made it work. This was entertaining. It was fun. Arena was doing her shtick. Megaton was reacting to it, and then Megaton was doing her shtick, and Arena was reacting to it. By no means was this, I guess, because it's fresh in the mind, Malenko versus Mysterio from like 96, 97. But this was darn entertaining, and the crowd was into it. I mean, they love them some Megaton. Arena just oozes charisma. And again, the more shows that they can get around in Marigold, the better for them. I thoroughly enjoyed this 3.25 stars because like what sometimes I'd like to do is when some of these shows are VOD and with all the wrestling that we watch, all the great wrestling going on, sometimes I forget what's on certain cards outside of the main event. And obviously Wrestle Universe is great and all you do is hit the down button and the whole card comes there. But sometimes I'd like to be surprised, and we'll talk about it in the next match. And I was like, I'm just gonna hit the play button and I'm gonna let this go to the, I'll watch and do the notes. I was like, oh, this is how we're open. All right, strap on in. Let's see what happens here. I'm like, damn, I was really entertained with this one. This one really, really worked out. 3.25 stars, a really fun, entertaining way to warm up the crowd for ultimately what turned out to be just a truly fantastic show.
Speaking of fantastic, a three-way, Victoria Yuzuki, Mai Sakurai, and Natsumi Showzuki. Natsumi Showzuki, when she came back from the injury that kept her out for 6 months of last year, she'd said that she'd considered retirement after this injury. She's in her 30s, and obviously, I think sort of it was that quandary of, do I have the time when I come back? I think we can all agree that she's made absolutely the right decision in not retiring, because she has returned with, if possible, an even more intense fire burning in her stomach. Because again, between this and the show on the 31st, she tears into people in this match. And again, when you're in a match with Victoria Yuzuki, and Victoria Yuzuki is the second most intense in the match, you know that you're intense. Obviously, a huge fan of Natsumi Showzuki. She was, from the very opening show Marigold did, she was the person, she was one of the people we both gravitated towards, really. It was her and Miko Ano. And here, she emphasized what we talked about at Korakuen, about how a match with Miko Ano for the red belt would just do gangbusters. And again, the bits that we had here are exchanges with Victoria Yuzuki absolutely give us that for the white belt 100%. We saw the bits with Mai Sakurai as well. She's a very exciting talent, is Natsumi Showzuki, and doesn't always necessarily get the flowers she deserves, especially when you've got people like Victoria Yuzuki, Seri Amoka, and the youth of Marigold coming through.
This was great. Usually when we have these three ways for Marigold, it's like your Hummingbird, your Nao Ishikawa, your Yuki Yamazaki, your younger talent that really hasn't been able to get to that main event scene. Maybe occasional tag match here or there. It's like, this is second. Like, okay, this is going to be great. Victoria Yuzuki, one of the best wrestlers in this company, your current United National Champion. Mai Sakurai coming off a great run as United National Champion, and Natsumi Showzuki, your first ever Superfly champion. And this was great on so many levels. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Natsumi came back with like almost a purpose. It was almost just like, okay, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back better than ever. New look. I love the blue in the hair. I love the new gear, the blue gear. And again, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna mention it again. As great of shape she was in before, she's in better shape now. Like not an ounce of fat on her, shredded, intense. We talked about that exchange she had with Miko Ano on last week's show. Like, give us that as a red belt match, or you can give us Natsumi Showzuki versus Victoria Yuzuki, Rob, and they for the United National Championship, and they all work. I think they're going to go Yuzuki and Chikagoto. We'll talk about it on the 30 on the we review the show from the 31st,
Yeah.
because they're leaning towards that way. But if they use this match just as a gauge to see where they want to go, it all works. They can also run back Sakurai versus Victoria Yuzuki, or a special singles match with Mai Sakurai and Natsumi Showzuki, because it all worked. The double paradise lock, you had some couple, you had a little bit of everything, a little bit of the comedy in here. You had a lot of the hard hitting, a lot of the intensity. This broke down to a few singles matches with Yuzuki versus Sakurai and Yuzuki versus Natsumi Showzuki, which they all worked. These pairings, any way they want to split them up into singles matches and give it 12, 13, 14 minutes, works for me. This was great. Everybody hit their beats. Everybody looked really good. Again, Natsumi Showzuki, I'm so excited to see what she's going to do this year, because she has come back laser focused. I think she's going to have a monster year, and I hope she does, because you can tell where her passion does lie, definitely in pro wrestling. This was great. I was so glad for 15 minutes. That was the perfect finish for this match. 4 stars for me, my friend. This was fantastic, and the crowd energy really peaked up to another level and never really came down into the final bell after that Mayu and Komomo match.
Yeah, and obviously there was that history as well. Victoria Yuzuki and Mai Sakurai, who of course had an absolutely tremendous match at Grand Destiny, in the wake of trying to stay afloat after or just before Io and Mayu took to the stage. So yeah, really good match. Thoroughly enjoyed this one. Second favorite match of the show, and certainly one, if you're pressed for time, this and the main event are definitely ones you should gravitate towards. Moving on then, match number 3, 8-woman tag. The team of Miko Ano, Utami Hayashishita, Chika Goto, and Koki Amare defeating Darkness Revolution. And we did see the debut of that new finisher from Chika Goto. I'm Go Chika. So again, should be nice and easy to remember. Sort of a pump handle choke slam, Matt. We've seen her using the GCS for a long time, the Goto choke slam. We've seen her finish matches with the power slam, which you are not a fan of under any circumstances.
Not as a finisher.
For some reason.
Not as a finisher, no.
Obviously, we now have a new finish. What are your thoughts on this?
Love it. Absolutely love it. My technical term that I wrote down, I didn't know it was called "I'm Go Chica." That's gonna sell shirts. By the way, here I was on the Marigold website last week just to see if I can get a Mayu jersey. They're still only small and large. Anywho, the Go Chica pink shirts all sold out. So Go Chica is
There
one
you
of their
go.
merch. I have it as a side slam into a uranagi, but that's basically, in my opinion, that's the technical term for it.
Mm.
But I'm Go Chica. As much as I love the GCS, the Goto Choke Slam, and again, I like the Power Slam, not as a finisher, especially when she has that hammerlock choke slam as her finisher. This is her best one. This is her best one. This is what she needs to continue to establish as she's moving up the card. Rob, you just made mention the three-way we talked about was your second favorite match from this show. I love that three-way. Again, 4 stars. This was actually my second favorite match from
Wow.
this
Yeah.
show.
It was
This
a
hit
good
a
match.
this hit a lot of beats. I mean, look at you have your big heel faction in there. And that does have your tag champions and probably your number one contender for the World of Marigold Championship. And on the other side, I mean, you want to talk about an OP team. Chikagoto, Koki Amare, Tommy Hayashishita, and Miko Ano. This had all sorts of beats. You have like an 8-person lockup to start, and I was like, okay, like that's something different. And then you get the baby faces, they get a little bit of a shine, but you know where eventually this is going to go. It's going to go to the floor. It goes all over the place. It gets ugly in the best way possible. Early, they do a great job building up Chiaki in this match, and rightfully so, because again, more
Mm.
than likely, she's going to be the next challenger for Miko Ano. So you want to make sure she looks good, but I like how you have these double and triple teaming on Team Miko Ano, a lot of bending and breaking the rules. And then the comeback spot on Chiaki was everybody hits a lariat on the Chiaki, which I thought was great. And the crowd popped for it. It's like, yeah, you're gonna bend and break the rules. Lariat, Koki Amare, lariat, Chikagoto, sliding lariat from Utami Hayashishita. What's left? Oh, the champ. She's gonna hit a sliding lariat as well. So I like how towards the end, like Chiaki, and again, rightfully so, got built up in this match, but she really gets her comeuppings in this match. I want to see a Misa Matsui versus Utami Hayashishita singles match. The psycho speed style against the power that is one Utami Hayashishita. Koki Amare again looking fantastic. Again, we hope she has a really, really healthy year here for Marigold because she's going to do big things. But I just really think the big project for Marigold is Chikagoto, and rightfully so. And considering the fact that she debuted a new finisher here on this show that was live streamed on Wrestle Universe, tells me that there's going to be great things afoot. Ryu was great. Nagisa Nozaki again. I know she's supposed to be a dastardly heel, but she does so much stuff in the ring that the crowd just gets behind and cheers. So whenever they're ready for her, I think it's only 1 or 2 steps they need for her to make her a big baby face when the time is right. Because again, she's somebody that the crowd gets really invested in, and it's not going to take much to turn her into a big baby face. This was great. Eventually, Chikagoto does get the win, debuting the new finisher in this match onto one Rhea Sato. 4.25 stars for me. I absolutely love this. This got so much accomplished. Getting Chikagoto over, getting Chiaki over, making you more excited for that Ano versus Chikagoto match. Rhea Sato was terrific as well. Nagisa Nozaki had some great bits with Koki Amare. This accomplished a lot. We've been saying this a lot over the last year or so. Some of these matches are really good, but they don't give it time to breathe. Like it wouldn't be uncommon if this match happened 7, 8 months ago and it went like 10 minutes. I'm like, that was really good.
Mm.
Why didn't give it more time? 16 minutes, plenty of time to tell their story. Again, a lot got accomplished in this match. 4.25 stars for me.
Semi-main event, as we already mentioned, Seriyama Yuki Yamazaki, and Shoko Kashino making their way through to the semi-finals of the 3D Trios Championship tournament. A match that I think we predicted quite handily, Matt, to be perfectly honest. However, some really good individual performances. Once again, really impressed with Nagisa Takibana. Hummingbird, again, continues to impress, but for me, it's all about Teriyama Oka at the moment. You can't take your eyes off her in the ring at the moment, even if her tag team name is Spunky Monster.
That's neither here nor there, my man. But
oh, it is. Oh, it is, my friend. Never forget that their tag name is Spunky Monster.
Aren't you supposed to yell that in the microphone?
Oh, that is true. Hang on 1 second. Spunky Monster. There you go. How could I forget?
Obviously, the project here is Sarah Yamaoka, and rightfully so. Again, Shoko Kashino coming off a great performance last month at First Stream, and Yuki Yamazaki just gets better each and every outing. This trio, and obviously I know they lost, of now Hummingbird and Nagise Takabana. I think if they build them up in the next month or two, they're going to be a great V1 for eventually who wins the tournament. Can you imagine if it is the ladyship versus these three on a 176 box show or in Shinjuku face? Because now Hummingbird and Nagisa, they wrestle each and every time, especially now Ishikawa, like something to prove. And now Ishikawa is over with the Marigold fan base and has been for quite some time. And we're waiting for like that big push or that big championship match because she's fantastic. And considering the fact the debut show she wrestled Miko Ano, who is now the world champion here. So I would love to see that run back somewhere. But again, now Hummingbird and Nagisa really, really work well together. I think they'd be, again, a great V1 or V2 for whoever comes out of this tournament at the end of the month as champions. You're absolutely right. This was just towards the end, Sari being dominating. And again, Sari is the future of Joshi Pro Wrestling at just 18, 19 years old. Just really terrific stuff. I was thoroughly enjoyed this one. I had this one at 4 stars. Again, another really terrific match with Sari putting over Nagise Takabana with the dialogue, a really great closing sequence with a lot of double team moves and single moves. Everybody really got over. But again, the main project is here to keep Sari looking strong, and she looked like the strongest in this match, and rightfully so, buddy. Again, 4 stars for me.
We then move on to the main event. We had the Joshi, the icon of Joshi Pro Wrestling, pardon me, and the real peach in Komomo Minami. And Komomo Minami took it upon herself to not shake the hand of Mayu. And then paid the price for it. For about 5 minutes of the match, Mayu went full. There's only one way I can describe it, and this is where she often falls down, where she gets almost arrogantly on top of an opponent. And here, she gave Komomo Minami absolutely nothing for those first 5 minutes. And then Komomo Minami did a comeback. And there was a couple of things I really enjoyed. The comebacks from Komomo Minami were quite a lot of the time using Mayu's moves. And there was so much mirroring in this match. And obviously we know that Mayu has been a huge influence on Komomo since she joined Marigold. But the parallels are there. Fuka has said in interviews that these two are so similar. And again, when they are wrestling each other, you can tell. Komomo was never winning this match. It was about the performance. It was about the resilience. And actually, Mayu hits the dragon suplex just before she hits the moonsault, as the referee announces that there is only 3 minutes left of the time limit. And the look on Mayu's face was, I need to finish this now because I'm running out of time. I didn't realize how long Komomo Minami was able to withstand what I've thrown at her. And that, if anything, was more of a put over than anything else. I will just say, whoever seated the really vocal Komomo Minami fans by the goddamn microphone, can we not have that anymore? Because even though Komomo Minami massively over, if you're listening to that show with headphones, good Lord. Lord.
I thought it added to it because everyone was Mayu and like, yeah, you go over Komomo.
Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that Komomo Minami, if anything, was a little bit more over than Mayu in this match. You know, obviously more support being thrown behind the underdog, obviously. But yes, there was 2 gentlemen who were sat extremely close to one of the microphones. And as I was running on the treadmill today, just hearing that buzzing through my headphones was slightly annoying. However, what a coming out performance for Komomo Minami. We thought it would be when we talked about this show last week, and it delivered. Fantastic performance. She has a bright future in this company.
So many stories in a 12-minute match. Mayu goes to shake the hand, like the code of honor, and Komomo was like, no. And I'm like, it should be the other way around. Shouldn't Komomo offer her handshake to Mayu, and Mayu would be like, no? I'm like, kind of disrespectful. And then Komomo comes running at Mayu. I'm like, okay, super kick.
I was like, can you imagine if that was it? Can you imagine if that was the main event? Komomo Minami comes flying out of the traps. Mayu hits with one super kick, done, dead. But then I meant to bring this up because obviously she hits the super kick and then hits the suicide dive. And we've talked often about Mayu's suicide dive, where It's really quite reckless because she comes through the ropes with such speed, but she just throws herself through the ropes. Whereas, like, for example, if we're to compare her to Io Sky, Io Sky will hit like a horizontal spear. Like, it'll be dead straight, and she will hit them with her hands every single time. We don't know what part of Mayu is going to collide with the people on the outside from one suicide dive to the other. She hits the dive, and I think it's Yuzuki that's at ringside with Komomo. And she hits, and the way she hits means that they drop Mayu, and how she doesn't land squarely on the top of her head. This is 12 seconds into the match, by the way. How she doesn't crown herself on the top of her head, I've got no idea.
I'm glad you brought this up because we've been talking off air for years about the suicide. Like Mayu and Hazuki, they seem so reckless with their suicide dive. And Io seems like she just glides. It's like she jumps, and it was like the most beautiful, like Kamatani's springboard planche. It's like the most beautiful thing in the world. Where Mayu and Hazuki, especially Mayu in this part, and the fact that like I can almost guarantee you Mayu has never done a dive this early in a main event match before because it never required it. And then she does it, and it was like absolutely insanely reckless. And I was like, boy, we're really out the gates here. Like, all right. And again, look at all the ratings I've given. 2 4-star matches, a 4.25 stars. Love the opener with Arena and Megaton. Like, we are really putting a bow on this show as being just a really fantastic must-see show. And how we're doing with the main event. Yeah, Mayu kicking Komomo in the face. Komomo's like, whoa, I didn't expect that. I need to take a breath. Mayu's like, yeah, I'm just going to come right out. And then hits us that insane suicide dive. I guess suicide dive, pun somewhat intended, Rob, because yowzers. I mean, Mayu, she shoots like a rock, and a lot of these are like that. They're the way that she gets her head of steam and stuff. It's so fast that whoever's out there definitely needs to make sure that they're keeping Mayu safe on the catch. But obviously, Mayu has been doing that move route for the better part of a decade, so she clearly knows what she's doing. She knows how to protect herself and protect her opponent. Back in the ring they go. You're absolutely right. The first 3 minutes of this match is just Mayu pasting Komomo Minami, and then Komomo gets the first comeback with a Mayu evasion drop kick. I was like, oh, how about this? And then Komomo does the hammerlock DDT and the shotgun knees. Really great stuff back and forth. And then Mayu's on the back foot. Komomo really starts laying a lot of stuff into Mayu, using a lot of the Mayu style strikes with the super kick and the buzzsaw kick and the forearms, almost setting them up very much like how Mayu does. So I was like, oh, we're almost seeing like a mirror match of Mayu and Mayu Light, which is a big compliment I can give to the young Komomo Minami because she was great here. Then we get some great German suplex exchanges back and forth. And just when it looks like Mayu's going to put Komomo away, Komomo is able to trip up Mayu and gets her in the Komomo clutch. And 300 people in this building thought we were going to see a title change. And when you can blur the lines, Rob, even if it's only for a split second, that is the magic that is pro wrestling. That is the magic that is this match. That is the magic and the greatness that is Mayu Iwatani. And that is the magic and the artfulness that is Komomo Minami. Komomo Minami is going to, I'm not going to say is going to be a big star. She is somebody that is, she's right there, right on the cusp. And this was her trial by fire in this match. And she absolutely passed with flying colors. Really great stuff there. Series of buzzsaw kicks from Mayu to Komomo. And then she hits the Snapdragon, and Mayu just can't put Komomo away. You're absolutely right, Rob. It's the storytelling of Mayu hitting that Snapdragon after she just laid waste to Komomo with those 2 buzzsaw kicks. And then Komomo kicks out, and there's 3 minutes to go. Mayu's like, I've been in this match for 12 minutes, and I've hit super kicks and buzzsaw kicks and Germans and a dragon suplex, and I still can't put her away. And it was right. It was that look on her face that put Komomo over in this match more than any moves.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's just the storytelling of pro wrestling. That's the genius. That's Mayu. That's the genius of this match. Everything that Mayu did and everything that Mayu gave to Komomo in this match, it built Komomo up. But it was just that look that it was like, you're kidding me? I've been doing this for 12 minutes. I almost got pinned twice, and I still can't put her away. Then she goes, and then she hits the big moonsault. I thought it was great. I thought Mayu did a great job protecting and getting Komomo over. 4.25 stars. I thought this was absolutely fantastic. And Mayu just does it again. Even though Mayu is the one that's walking out with her hand raised, her opponent, especially in this case, Komomo Minami, actually comes out better than going in. Again, very much like a Natsumi Showzuki. And Chikagoto. I am so excited to see what Komomo Minami does in Marigold here in 2026, my friend.
So that does bring us to the show on the 31st of January, which was night 6 of the New Year's Golden Garden Tour. This came, of course, from the Lily Arena Mito in Ibaraki. The attendance for this show, 375. It's only the second time the company have run the venue, with this being a 9.64% decrease on the attendance of 415 Marigold drew back in March of 2025. Just a couple of injury updates. Obviously, Kazuna Tanaka and Minami Yuki both still out with long-term injuries. Kazuna Tanaka, though, recently published to social media that the operations have been successful on her ankle. And I believe it was the Marigold Joshi Twitter page actually posted her beginning to do some light work on it. I don't think she's weight bearing at all on the ankle yet, but there's certainly some work being done. So obviously our best wishes go out to both of them as they continue to recover from their injuries. Let's go through the results then from this show. We open with a singles match. Seri Yamaoka defeating Nagisa Takibana with a side suplex in 9 minutes and 41 seconds. Misa Matsui defeated Yuki Yamazaki with a stretch muffler in 12 minutes and 34 seconds. Three-way match, Naoshi Kawa came out on top against Mai Sakurai and Megaton in 7 minutes and 11 seconds. Once again, Megaton coming out on the losing end. Shock of all shocks. Semi-main event, 6-woman tag team match. The team of Mayu Iwatani, Victoria Yuzuki, and Komomo Minami got a victory ahead of their exploits in the 3D Trios Championship tournament. They defeated Hummingbird, Utami Hayashishita, and Chika Goto. Yuzuki pinning Hummingbird with that cross-arm suplex in 11 minutes and 40 seconds. With all her more elaborate finishing moves she's been bringing out recently, you do forget that she has also got that cross-arm suplex. 6-woman tag team match, main evented the show. The super team of Miku Ano, Koki Amara, and Natsumi Showzuki, they defeated the Darkness Revolution team of Nagisa, Nozaki, Chiaki, and Rhea Sato. Koki Amara gained the pinfall in this one with the Amethyst Butterfly onto Rhea Sato in 17 minutes and 32 seconds. Matt, when we first went through this card last week, both of us were very excited for these two singles matches because, you know, again, they're not going to be match of the year candidates or anything like that, but they contain exciting talents. You know, Nagisa Takibana, on the previous show, again, showed exactly why she is so exciting and why she's developed incredibly well in such a short space of time. And here, again, she got to ply that trade against Seri Yamaoka. Did it live up to your expectations?
Yeah, it sure did. We started this show off with 2 back-to-back banger singles matches. I mean, a really great way to start the show. This was terrific. We've seen Nagisa over these since she came back from her injury, that she does this different variation of the crossbody. She was always doing that double jump one, that, and then the one time she missed and fell, and we think that's where she may or may not got injured. But since coming back with debuting the the new gear, I believe it was a Korakuen show about a month or so ago, she does this misdirection spot where she's running off the ropes. She goes behind her opponent, and then she comes off the opposite end. And by the time the opponent sees where Nagisa is, when she turns around, Nagisa hits a jumping crossbody, which I like that because I'm always a big fan of whenever and especially when I'm teaching, when I'm lucky enough to teach seminars and whatnot. Whenever somebody's coming off the rope or doing a dive, if you're looking at them, you're like, well, if you're waiting for the train to come, you're going to get out of the tracks. But I love the misdirection in this. And it's by the, when the person, and I guess I'm doing this for YouTube, when the person looks like, where did she go? By the time they turn around, it's too late. She's already in air and they're getting hit with a cross body. And she does that perfect. And Sari does a great job feeding for it and selling for it. So I love how Nagisa does that. Nagisa's great technical wrestling, great timing, great selling. Her striking is getting better. Not that it was bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm really believing her hard-hitting striking. Great stuff from Sari as well. Springboard dropkick, all that really great stuff. The fact that this one went almost 10 minutes, I thought was terrific. And I really like the finish. Again, they're doing a great job highlighting Sari in all of these matches. And the fact that she hit 3 big moves back to back with the German suplex to the gut wrench suplex and then to the Aoki clutch, putting away Nagisa, which again, it's really cool seeing back to back big moves from Sari. It also puts Nagisa over because it's like Sari had to use these 3 moves all in a row in order to get the win. A really terrific match. 3 and 3/4 stars. I just love the ever improving Nagisi Takabana and the fact that Sari's only been wrestling a little over a year and is this good. It really is scary in the best way possible.
Just want to point out, and this comes courtesy of at daily_marigold, that Seri Amoka, just talking about the wonderful year she's had in pro wrestling. She was named the Women's Rookie of the Year in the weekly Pro Wrestling Awards for 2025. She almost also finished second in the Women's Pro Wrestling Grand Prix, placed second in Women's Best Match with her match against Mirai, and ranked fourth in the overall favorite wrestlers category. So a huge year for Seri Amoka, and it's very clear why Marigold are so high on Seri Amoka. Moving on, Mike, you already mentioned that this was another banger. And again, Misa Matsui can't put a foot wrong. She's tremendous in ring. Yuki Yamazaki, we constantly sing the praises of in this or on this podcast. And again, this is another reason why I thought these two gelled really, really well. Also, Misa Matsui absolutely has the best flying knee in the game. There's no debate on that. You can have other opinions, but those opinions are wrong. I want to see her finishing more matches with the stretch muffler.
What'd you say? Best flying knee in the game? Oh, hold on. I just got a text. Oh, Miko Wada just texted me. She told me to tell you hello. She told me it's again, it's subjective. You can like what you like. I'm not gonna obviously Misa Matsui. She's fantastic. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Debuting a new finish, the stretch muffler.
I want to see that more.
Not only was it great, but the psychology made sense. You start off with great chain wrestling. Misa gets the first advantage with that flying knee strike, sends Yuka to the floor, where Misa's obviously can have the advantage because she's a heel. In the words of Jim Cornette, she's a heel. And then starts working.
Really good Jim Cornette impression.
God damn. They go to the floor. They get back in. Yuka starts getting the advantage back, and Misa takes out Yuka's knee. She goes to the figure 4. She does drop kicks the knee. Does not 1 but 2 Muda locks. A lot of Muda talk on the Marigold standard this week. Maybe we get the Great Muda versus Megaton. Maybe that is, yeah, there you go. I'm putting that out in the ether. Anywho. That's who the M should have been back at.
Imagine. Oh, what a trick they missed.
And even Minoru Suzuki was okay. Anyway, back to this match. Yuka has great fire here. The crowd is really behind her. She's really terrific in this match, but just Misa has a game plan, and she keeps going back to it, going back to it, and going back to it. Simple psychology, and eventually she's able to get Yuka in the stretch muffler, which again works over the knee that Misa was working for the last half of the match. Great intensity from Yuka, great fire back from Yuka, great selling, great sympathy, and the crowd was really behind her, but it was just too much of Misa's game plan that worked out. Absolutely love this match with great psychology, great limb work, which I know you love a great limb work match.
I do indeed.
3 and 3/4 stars. They packed a lot of great stuff in this match. Excellent stuff. Again, 2 young and fantastic wrestlers in this company. Thoroughly enjoyed that one, buddy.
Another 3-way, including Mai Sakurai. However, it was Naoya Ishikawa getting the win over Megaton. Naoya Ishikawa and Mai Sakurai. I want to see it again. I know they ran it once and it was great. I want to see it again. I'm not done seeing the exchanges between these two. And again, it just goes to show that every time Naoya Ishikawa is partnered with someone in the upper echelon of this company, she continues to smash it out of the park.
Yeah, Marigold's always done a great job of giving these wrestlers getting over chances. Like, again, now we got over with the whole Passion Sisters and the matches she had with Nanai, especially in Korakuen Hall. You mentioned it. They did, I think it's 2 or 3 Korakuens ago, where Sakurai and Now wrestled kind of like match 3 and like had one of the best matches on.
Blew it away, yeah.
Was like so like crazy violent, and it was like poor Megaton was like an afterthought in this match. Like my Sakurai Now, they just go head to head and they go at it. Then all of a sudden Megaton comes in with the comedy. Now does some of her comedy. Sakurai does some of her comedy. Then eventually we get to the hard hitting stuff that is Now and my Sakurai. Again, there's something there. They had Marigold has something special there with these two, and by these two I mean Now and my Sakurai. Again, I just think now is the time to push now. See what I did there, Rob?
I do.
I think they need to give her, like, build her up, give her a couple big wins, and build her towards either a Miko Ano red belt challenge or a Victoria Yuzuki United National Challenge. I don't think she's going to win, but give her the opportunity to get over in that setting, because she's proven anytime that you give her an inch, she takes a mile, and she's massively over with every single crowd that she wrestles in Marigold, and is having great matches. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I love the stuff with her and Sakurai. Megaton, she throws in the comedy shtick here, but this was nice seeing Naomi Ishikawa get a win on this show. 3.5 stars for me.
We move on then. Mayu Iwatani, Victoria Yuzuki, Komomo Minami looking again to build some momentum heading into that match with the foreign team for the 3D Trios Championship. Matt, does this dampen or heighten your thoughts that we could be looking at your first 3D Trios champions?
I thought Team Mayu here was fantastic, and rightfully so. You know, they have great chemistry. We you know, from what we understand, Mayu has doing some of the teaching in the Marigold Dojo, and probably even before shows. And two of her best students are Yuzuki and Komomo Minami. Obviously, Yuzuki was close with Mayu when they were over in Stardom about 2 years ago. These three work well together. Utami, Hummingbird, and Chikagoto, terrific as well. Again, we made mention, I think, last show or the show before, Utami and Chikagoto, possibly maybe sometime in the spring or summer, could be great champions as far in the tag division as twin star champions, because they work terrific. You got the great stuff with Mayu and Utami, and the great stuff with Komomo and Hummingbird, and a little bit of Yuzuki and Utami as well. But this match, in my opinion, and I don't know if you agree with me, partner, was just to drive. More, there's a lot of great things, don't get me wrong, but the big driver was the fact that we may be seeing a potential Victoria Yuzuki versus Chikagoto United National Championship matches. Championship match, excuse me. Their exchange was great. I wish it would have went longer than 11 minutes, like 14, 15 minutes with all this great talent. I think it would have flushed out the story more. But ultimately, it was all about, let's kind of sprinkle some seeds and let's see if people are interested in Victoria Yuzuki versus Chikagoto United National Championship. They've been teasing it. Chikagoto keeps saying that she wants that shot at the championship. Again, I think Chikagoto is right on the cusp of breaking out. I think giving her a big championship match against Victoria Yuzuki on a Korakuen Hall or a pay-per-view coming up sometime soon, I think would do wonders for Chikagoto and Marigold as well. I had this match at 4 stars. I thought it was really, really terrific. And again, not only did you build up the anticipation for Yuzuki versus Chikagoto, but the anticipation of maybe Mayu, Yuzuki, and Komomo may make it to the finals of the 3D tag title tournament. So a lot got accomplished in this match, my friend. 4 stars for me.
Yeah, it's a match that can main event Korakuen easily. Victoria Yuzuki versus Chikagoto. I don't think Chikagoto dethrones Victoria Yuzuki. Certainly not yet, anyway. I think it could happen in the future. Certainly not yet. I think we've mentioned this before. I'm not all about the whole the whole weight thing or anything like. Let's just keep it away from that. Let's just focus on the wrestling. But in terms of a wrestling thing, in terms of a chemistry between the two, I think this match, if not all of the other brief exchanges we've had, prove that that's going to be a very, very exciting matchup. Main event time then. Miko Ano, Koki Amare, and Natsumi Showzuki. You talk about OP teams. Again, just look at that trio. Just for the entrance alone, this is an OP trio. My question to you is, we've had obviously 2 matches where we see Miko Ano mix it up with Chiaki. Chiaki, it looks like, is going to be the next Marigold World Championship contender. Has this excited you, or has this built your excitement towards that potential matchup? Do you see Chiaki as a legitimate challenger, even if we know she's not winning the belt?
I want to see the match because they did a great job building it up. And what this show did, especially these last 2 matches, made me more excited for Yuzuki versus Chikagoto if they go that way, and Miko Ano versus Chiaki if they go that way. But clearly they're definitely pointing us in the right direction there. They have done a great job building up Chiaki to make it look like she's a threat towards Miko Ano. Do I think she's going to win? No. Especially if it's hair versus hair. No. And I did ask Andy Header. I said, there's no way they're He's like, no. Why? Shut down the company. You're not shaving that luscious head of hair of Miko Ano. Why would you do that? So further affirmations that if it does go to a hair match, we're us Miko Ano fans, we're gonna be okay, buddy. We're gonna be okay. But I think that's a great defense for Miko Ano, and it's an opportunity to see if they can get Chiaki to have main event level matches and drop. It's a good, hey, let's see what we can do with here. And if Chiaki loses, which more than likely she will, she's still one half of the tag champs. So maybe they look at it like, okay, we put her in that spotlight with our champion, Miko Ano. And again, Miko Ano won the belt on the biggest show in Marigold history with Io versus Mayu. So giant spotlight on Miko Ano. Now she's taking that spotlight, shining it on Chiaki. Chiaki's going to take that spotlight and shine it on the tag division. And then maybe you can main event these 176 box shows with the tag team championship match. Shinjuku face, something like that to be able to get the attendance up. So it's something that Miko Ano can pull up not only Chiaki but the tag belts as well. So they did a great job setting the steeds here, and they have for the last few shows. I thought the Miko Ano Chiaki exchanges were great. This match was very violent in the best way possible. You get the darkness jump in the beginning, and very much like the main event at the last show, you blink your eye, next thing you know, you're in the third row. Because like Mayu with the dive, and then all of a sudden Koki Amare is getting fired into the third row. Natsumi's in the third row. Koki Amare or Miko Ano is getting beat up. Then very interesting that is Miko Ano taking the heat here. I was like, okay, like she's your champion and probably the most explosive wrestler in this match. So she takes the heat. But then, like, once Koki Amare comes in, like, she's the hammer that gets this match back on track here for Team Miko. Great tag work here. And I made mention this since Koki and Natsumi been back, that Koki and Natsumi make a really great tag team. They do that spot where I believe it was Rhea Sato was laying on the mat, and Natsumi Showzuki comes running out of the corner, and Koki Amare pops her up, and then Natsumi comes all the way down with those double knees. We've seen it before, and it's super impressive. And then we get great teamwork with Miko Ano and Natsumi Showzuki with the kick sandwiches and just the striking stuff that they were doing to all three members of Darkness Revolution. If you remember, like it was like month 4 or month 5 in Marigold that we saw Miko Ano and Natsumi team up quite a bit. And I was like, they need to make these two a permanent tag team if they don't have singles aspirations for either of these two. And obviously they did. And obviously still do, but I love the stuff of Miko and Natsumi as a team. And I love it anytime that the hammer is getting put down on the Darkness Revolution, whether it's the teamwork or the stuff from Natsumi or the stuff from Koki or the stuff from Miko Ano. Darkness is like, we always have that ace in the hole. We're going to bend and break the rules to get the advantage. Ultimately, what does that do? The crowd sees it, but the referee doesn't do it, and the crowd gets upset. What do? They go, boo, and that's what you want. Ultimately, though, you get build towards your finish, where eventually we have Natsumi and Miko Ano. They take out Nagisa and Chiaki. That opens up the door for Koki Amare getting a big win in the main event, hitting that beautiful amethyst butterfly splash for the 3 count. 4 stars for me, my friend. This was my favorite match of this show. Really great stuff, and it did exactly what it needed to do. It got you more excited for Miko Ano versus Chiaki for that probably coming up soon. Maybe on that Corkin at the end of the month that you alluded to early on the show, buddy. Maybe on the 23rd.
I think it speaks volumes that Chiaki was pretty much the only wrestler on the entire Marigold roster that wasn't in the 3D Trios tournament. And Miko Ano got eliminated in the first round when the finals were at Corrigan. It really does speak volumes.
You put that, who's on the case? Perry Mason, Rob Goodwin. You put that together pretty quick, buddy. Not just the handsome face, folks. Let me tell you.
And I tell you what a tune that is. Let's talk then very, very briefly about these upcoming cards then. The 7th of February, as we already mentioned, we now know the names of the foreign team. So the card in full for the 7th of February, Nagisa Takibana versus Yuka Yamazaki, Seriyamoka versus Marie Malenko, Shoko Kishino versus versus Megaton versus Chiaki. We've also got a 6-woman tag, Miko Ano, Koki Amare, and Hummingbird against Mai Sakurai, Natsumi Showzuki, and now Ishikawa. Our 3D Championship Tournament last round 1 matches are Mayu Iwatani, Victoria Yuzuki, Komomo Minami against Sophia Savan, Dream Girl Ellie, and Olivia Rose. And the other match will be Utami Hayashishita, Chika Goto, Chanyota against the Darkness Revolution representation of Nagisa Nozaki, Misa Matsui, and Rhea Sato. On the 8th of February, the following day, then we move to Saitama. We open with a three-way Komomo Minami, Nagisa Takibana versus Yuka Yamazaki. Singles match, Naoya Ishikawa versus Chiaki. Ryo Saito versus Marie Malenko. Tag match, Victoria Yuzuki and Seri Yamaoka versus Sevilla Savan and Olivia Rose. Trios match, Mayu Iwatani, Utami Hayashishita, and Hummingbird taking on Mai Sakurai, Natsumi Showzuki, and Koki Amare. Keep an eye on that one. And then in your main event, Mika Wano, Chika Goto, and Megaton against Misa Matsui, Nagisa Nozaki, and potentially a new addition to Darkness Revolution, Dream Girl Ellie. So, Matt, a couple of matches to keep your eyes on there, my friend.
Yeah, really great weekend around the horn of professional wrestling. And these two matches here on the 7th and 8th from Marigold look really, really intriguing. And again, with a lot of new talent as well, mixing in with this great roster that is Marigold. So yeah, super excited from when they usually, with their VOD, usually 1 or 2 days, they're up on Wrestle Universal. Hopefully they're up sometime in the beginning part of the week, my friend. And again, I'm really excited to see what Maria Malenko is going to do, especially in that match with Seri Yamaoka. That is going to be a technical masterpiece, in my opinion, my friend.
And then finally, Matt, it's time, my friend. It's time to gaze at Julia.
Gaze at Julia. We go to the Royal Rumble, where Julia and Kiana James have really great tag team symmetry. And then we do see some stuff by they I mean Julia, Kiana James, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky. They did a great job taking advantage of their time in the Royal Rumble to build up that upcoming tag team championship match. That is, they didn't officially announce it yet, at least not that I know of. But Julia and Kiana James did win a three-way last week on SmackDown to become the #1 contender. So not unless something changes, and I hope it doesn't. Somewhere soon, we're going to get Julia and Io in a ring together. Obviously, Rhea Ripley is the biggest women's star on the planet. There's no way you can deny that. Kiana James has really been impressing me. She was kind of just like the mouthpiece and manager for Julia, but every time we see her in the ring, I'm really impressed with her. She wasn't in the Rumble that long, but I thought she was terrific. And I thought that, again, they did a great job using the Royal Rumble to plant those seeds and get you more excited. So again, Julia looked great in the Rumble. Her stuff with Kiana James, the teamwork, I thought is really, really good. But eventually, hopefully, as we're recording this Thursday, maybe tomorrow on Friday Night SmackDown, we have a better idea of when we see that upcoming tag team championship match, as we have Julie and Kiana James taking on Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, my friend. So stay tuned here next week for more gaze. I don't do it with my hands at Julia.
Just ooh.
Ooh. Tell I'm Italian. I'm talking with my hands.
Talking with your hands. Ladies and gentlemen, we did promise it'd be a short one.
Wow.
Oh my God, we actually stuck to our word. That is the end of this episode of the Marigold Standard. Of course, we will be back next week to talk about the shows from the 7th and the 8th of February. But in the meantime, thank you for listening. If you haven't already subscribed to the podcast, you can subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Just look for World of Joshi, Marigold Standard. Either way, it will come up. Leave us a comment or a 5-star review. Massively helps us out, and it's a completely free way to support the podcast. Patreon.com/World of Joshi for all of these episodes ad free for as little as $1 a month. You can find us at worldofjoshi.com as well as on social media at WOJ Wrestling. Talk to me on Twitter at Real Rob Goodwin. Mr. Turner, for the love of all goodness, please sign us off, good sir.
I wasn't going to, but you said please, and now I have to do it.
You
were very polite. Folks, questions, comments, suggestions, anything you need from me, Matt Turner OF on the Instagram and the Twitter is the easiest, fastest, and best way to get a hold of me. Or you can get a hold of me on my fancy new business email, matt@worldofjoshi.com. But you know where else you can get a hold of me? Old habits die hard. The Stardom Cast 22 at gmail.com. Folks, that's going to wrap it up for the Marigold Standard this week. We greatly appreciate your support. Can't do without you. It's like I always say, just not my podcast. It's our podcast. Because we're all together, and everybody's different. Everybody's special.